All right. For this week, we have the third week into C++, and I'm going to go over a little bit more detail. It's a little simple. Not a whole lot of new things that are going to be learned here, but still important in their own applications. Um, Last week was the Mad Lib, taking in user inputs based on strings and given variables, and then putting it into a story and incorporating your cout functions. So in my compiler here, I have the same IOStream and namespace std. It just makes things a little bit easier. Now, I'll go ahead and start off and preface what the assignment is this week. The assignment is to make a calculator. Now, that's a pretty broad term, but basically something where you can put in your number, your operator, and your other number, and then it would return the solution. So operator is multiplication, exponent, division, subtraction, that kind of stuff. But there are a few things you could probably figure out how to do it, but then I do want to help with a few things along this way, because it's some things that we haven't yet covered, mainly if statements and how to establish that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some strings in here, and I'm going to just have a couple variables. We'll just say ask1 and ask2, and I just want to initiate those. I'm going to have a cout here. I want it to say enter a name, and then I'll have it say cout. I'll get another one. Well, before I do that, I'll name it cin, and then that will be the ask1 value. And we do copy this, paste that, and then enter an animal, and then that's our what we're going to get our user input from, and then we're going to go and make some if statements of this. Some pretty simple stuff. What I want to do here is just if for, I'll have our variable here ask1 to equal sign. This is fairly universal syntax, but if double universal sign and then single quotes, because that's what you're going to do for your booleans. Single quotes, and then you want it to be, actually, we're doing strings here, so you can do fine either, I think. But single quotes, and we're going to say, if the name given is Brian, that's me. We want to have an open bracket, like you would with the main, and then you can do stuff with that. You can say, my name is Brian 2. That's just a little end line. And then what you could also do is the user probably, there's a good chance that they won't give the name Brian. So you can say else if, which is saying if it's something other than if, but you still want to have another condition. You can ask if ask1 is equal to Ethan. And then you start this off, get your bracket here, cout, Ethan is my student. Very simple. So now you have your basic syntax, and then you can say else, which is just if it doesn't fall in any of these conditions. You have your cout. I don't know this person, but I bet they're pretty cool. So that's how you can get your basic if, elif if you do Python, else functions. Now if we run this, we're gonna have our create the variables for the enter the name, and right now I haven't used the enter the variable yet, but still, what you can do, and then I can apply, and I can show you like some things that you can do for that. I think I should just be able to run that again. There's a little bit of issues with this. Nope. Let's see. What is?
I think your else is shouldn't it be aligned with the if, or
It
not?
is. It's on the same indent level. It just has this bracket here. I just forgot to put these
Got it. Okay.
at the end of the line.
Ah.
So now that should run. I haven't found a great compiler that is quick, so if you have any suggestions, make them.
REPL has actually been pretty quick when I've been using it.
Okay, so I'll probably go back to REPL then. But you can see we're in our console now, and we're in our name, and we'll just say Brian, animal. My name's Brian too. I haven't done anything with the other term here. That's what I'll add. I just want to show you like the different if, else. If we enter the name Joey, enter the animal Burp. I don't know this person, but I bet they're pretty cool. It's probably true. This is now it has the different options available. So I want to incorporate this ask_to variable. And it's very similar to the Mad Libs, where you can just kind of throw this in wherever you'd like. And I'll say, what I can do here is just put ask1 doesn't like, and then we'll get ask2. So now I'm referencing inside this if statement, I'm referencing my ask1, which is the name, and my ask2, which is the animal, and I'm compiling this all, and then this outcome will only happen if the input for the enter the name is Brian. So if we just Brian, I want to say the animal is snakes. Brian doesn't like snakes. Very true. So very simple lesson here on the if-else statements. And if you are unfamiliar, there's a lot that you can compound with this. You can do a lot. And like we could, for example, come down here and have another if statement in this. And then we can say if asked, let me get my parenthesis, if ask2, and then equals bear, bear. Then I'm going to have the bracket here. And then I'm going to have the C out. You are just like me. Very simple. I love bears. My name's Brian. But then I can have this, the else if, and this can go on as far as you want, but that's not necessarily related to the assignment for this week. But,
Markers.
yes.
Since we are doing a calculator, should we make it so that you can input as many values as you want, or are we confined to like a couple of values to work with?
Okay, so this is where you get a little bit more options here. The calculator, for example, if you want it to be have that, what you could just say is, I'm gonna go ahead and just make this all comment. I think it's like this. Maybe. Well, we're gonna make this comment. Syntax. There we go. So that's all a comment now. And what you could do is you could have your int, and this could be your like terms, and then what you can essentially ask is
how many terms do you want to use, basically?
Exactly, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So you could ask how many terms, and then cin would be your terms, what you enter, it would turn into that terms value, and then you would just have whatever numbers you have from there on, your int your term 1, term 2, term 3, and then just apply however many numbers you have. You're also going to need to use an operator, which gives you the chance to use the very rarely included character, char, which is just for a single character. Like if you had just minus, or plus, or if you had your caret, whatever that might be, that's what you'd use your character for. So then you can say operator, we'll just call it op. So now what we can get here is, I'm just gonna get rid of that. I don't need that. You can now be given your terms, your input, output, ask how many terms you want, what operation is going to be done. As you can also have this if you want to, however many operations you're going to use within your own code. So that's all for this. Again, your assignment is to create a calculator, which is just using you can use doubles, you can use integers, you can use characters, you can use strings, whatever you want. Make a calculator that will do some basic functions on the user's request.